All right, I have returned for yet another beautiful day. It is day 88. I think that's good luck. Something with Lunar New Year. Robin told me about this like a couple days ago, and I don't know why the number 8 is lucky, but I'll take it. It is day 88. It is February 28th. It is the last day of February, which means that today we find out whether or not we hit our goal of 14 pounds down for the entire month, which would be half a pound down on average. I needed to lose 0.2 pounds between yesterday and today in order for me to hit that goal. And I'll get into some of the technicalities of it, but I'm trying to be as stringent as possible when I'm measuring these goals. But 0.2 is what I needed. I weighed in this morning really early, and I was up by a pound. So I was like, damn, man, I had a decent amount of food yesterday, and it was a rest day, and it's still in my stomach. So maybe if I weigh in, by the time I weigh in at my normal time, I'll be okay. So I waited. Sure enough, got the huge poop, took a nice pee, and then I was like, yes, I'm going to weigh in fine. And I weighed in, and I was not where I wanted to be. I was still up. I was half a pound up. So it is unfortunate, but it is just the reality of the situation. So I don't know why I changed those to red. That's actually really stupid of me. I'm going to change those while I talk. But so our monthly, actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to leave them red. So monthly total is 14.9. So it's says right there that I lost 15 pounds and my goal is 14. So what's the big deal? Well, when I started the first day from January 31st into February 1st, that transition I lost 1.6 pounds. So it seems like that I've actually gone down 14, but I started at 316.4, meaning I needed to wind up at 302.4 in order to have lost 14, and I wound up at 303.1. So it is not a huge deal, but realistically, it's under the target I wanted to set. There was a lot of things that I could have handled better this month, specifically when I was spending 4 days in Vegas, which wasn't that big. It was basically a pound a day while I was out there, and then some of the hockey days that I went, I had a pretty large, really unhealthy meal along with some beer here, and it wound up definitely affecting me. And I had a really slow start to the month, so it is unfortunate. Yesterday was rest day, like I mentioned, so there's no check marks for that. However, I've already lifted this morning, so I get a ding for that, so that's cool. And I'll be doing rowing in the evening. So yeah, we'll start out March well, hopefully. Start out with a number where we go down yet again. I'm going to move this over here so that we can look at the shared screen of what February will close out with. So we'll zoom in, and like I mentioned, if you look back at January, I was 318 the last day of January. The first day of February was 316.4. So my thing in my head is like, so where does that 1.6 pounds go? Should I apply that back to January? Because this is the weigh-in result as of the last day of January, or should I apply this towards February's weight loss? And realistically, you don't have to think of it that way when you look at it like this, When you look at it where you're not going month to month on different tabs, it doesn't really fucking matter where it lands. And if I'm just saying like how much weight did I lose for February, and I just highlight all of February, then yeah, I lost over 14. But it's a little bit wonky. Then it's totally fine. It's not the biggest deal. Also, I don't know why my math isn't mathing in my brain right now, but yeah, actually, I do know exactly why. It's the 1.6. It's the 1.6 again, playing with my brain. So 13.7. No, it's going to be a little bit higher than that. So, but yeah, if you're looking at February and you're not including that 1.6, technically I went down 13.3. So, not a huge miss. And obviously we had a really good stretch right there. And this, I think, was indicative of the fact that like I switched as much as I possibly could to working out earlier in the morning and lifting early in the morning and having a bigger breakfast rather than a bigger dinner. And I will say for the last 2 days, I had the small breakfast and a bigger dinner, and I've seen those results trickle off again. It just means there's more in my stomach at the time I weigh in. Realistically, it's not actually changing the rate at which I lose weight, but it does make my weigh-in a little bit more volatile because I do have that food still in my stomach versus having it completely cleared out and not having to worry about it by the time I weigh in the morning. And you just have more time to burn through your calories while you're awake versus having your big meal at the end of the day when you're moving into like a sedentary state, especially if you have your big meal on my 2 lifting days where I don't have any exercise after I have that meal. And that's deliberate when I work out late so that I can have protein in my system for my body to recover after I lift. So having that happen in the middle of the day made me feel a lot stronger. It made my energy levels feel better. I feel like my strength it recovers a little bit quicker. And also I saw way better results when it came to weight loss. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do as much as I can. It's difficult though, because the workout's like an hour and 10, hour and 20 minutes when I do the lifting. And if I'm starting work at 7:30 and I have meetings starting from 7:30 running all the way till like 3 with no break in between, it's hard to find a way to actually lift while I'm working. And I don't like doing that in meetings. I don't like being away from my desk in case I need to look something up. If it's a presentation that's not for me and I'm just there so I can hear it, that's a little bit different. I might be able to swing that, but we'll take it as it comes. But overall, I think February is still fairly successful. Certainly not as successful as March was, and definitely not as successful as December. But that said, December I started out at 364 pounds. So really close to getting below the 300 mark, which is cool. That'll be a pretty big milestone. That 64-pound lost milestone is a big one. So we'll see what tomorrow looks like, and then I'm gonna get really close, and then I'm gonna go to the DR for work for like 3 or 4 days. So it'll be challenging while I'm down there, but I'm not gonna be like super stringent. I'm gonna enjoy the food they try and give me, and I'm sure I'll get plenty of steps and lots of activity while I'm there. So I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But yeah, that's how today shook out. So let's just check Averon really fast. So I hit a milestone today that I was pretty proud of. So I only did the 10 minutes as a warm-up before my lifting, but I got an award, and I wasn't sure if it was actually going to show because they don't really show them very often, but I just got, let's see, 100 workouts. I've done 100 workouts since getting the Averon, and I got that in the second week of January. So it took me a month and a half, just over a month and a half, to do 100 workouts on it. And I actually am really happy about that. I'm at Olympian status, which I think just means that I've rode for 20 hours. Yeah, 20 hours, and then I think champion is 40 hours. So it's cool. I'm happy. Like, I don't have to worry about like getting a piece of equipment that I don't use, which is something that I know people fall into sometimes, where it's like you sign up for a gym membership but you don't go, or you get that workout equipment but you don't use it. And it's not the case with me with the Averon at the very least. So I'm getting my money's worth out of it. And I'm pretty happy about it. So, comparison. I haven't done this before. Comparing the last 30 days. So that's funny. The last 30 days to the previous 30 days, I didn't start until day 9 because that's when I got the machine. Workouts comparison by graph. So that first month I did 52 workouts, but I think a lot of those were me trying to figure out how to use the fucking thing to start. Yeah, I did 11 in my first 3 days. So yeah, and some of those are like the short lessons, like the 5-minute lessons or the 10-minute lessons. Whereas like when I started this month, I was just finishing those up, and I switched to just doing like 2 a day at most, because I'm doing like 30-minute sessions each time. So good stuff. Let's go ahead and Wordle, and then I can slip back over to work. Things are running fairly smoothly, knock on wood, sacrifice all the goats, all that fun stuff to make sure I don't ruin it. But I felt comfortable taking a quick 15-minute break. Is today clout day? It is not. It's a big swing and a miss is what it is. All right, so as soon as I see this, I immediately think R and A are going to be the second and third letter. So something like this. I'm going to go with prank to start. I think prank has already been used, but it'll let us know if we're right about the letter location and we're not. So we move on. So what about wharf? Okay, we found out where that R is going to go. The A is still a mystery, though. But the R being in the fourth place means it's probably going to end with something like D, G, B maybe, an M. And the H being there makes me feel like it's going to be the first letter. But I already know that the A is not the second or third, so it's either the first or the last. So something like blah, blah, blah. I'm just putting these in here. No, that doesn't look right. Let's take a minute to step back and think. The fact that the H is not second is a little bit confusing to me, but does that look like a word? It does not. Wonder if there's a Y in this. The only spot I'm confident the H isn't in is the last spot, but I might be wrong about that. There's not that many words that end in RH that I can think of off the top of my head, especially 5-letter words based off of the consonants we've already eliminated. So, okay, let's just try putting this here. No. No. Robin's opening baseball cards in the background in case you heard her. She's excited. She's getting a lot of Shohei cards. I think that H has got to be first, man. Which means I have no idea what the middle is. And it's going to end in RA. Himra. No. It's just so annoying that the H isn't second because all these words that keep popping into my brain are like, nope. That's not a word. Damn. I am just drawing a blank on this. What if it ends in double R? Well, if it ends in double R, then the A has to be first. And the H would have to be second. Or, excuse me, third. No. I'm going to wind up having to throw away this 5th guess to give myself a chance on the 6th one. Or I can sit here and ponder forever. And this is taking quite a bit of time. I mean, no one watches, so it's not a big deal. But still. It's not a word. I'm just tossing shit out, man. Trying to hope my brain fires away and is like, oh, that's it. It's just not how vowels work. One sec. Just gotta check a message really fast. Okay, I think I'm good there. Okay. Sorry, I have like a project that I'm overseeing. They're in the middle of being worked on, and I don't want to miss anything that might come in that's important. These just aren't words. I'm literally just tossing up anything that... Fuck. It's like my fingers figured it out before my brain. I literally typed that out like, I don't know, HYDR. What could that be? Oh, yep, I'm an idiot. I still got it. I got it in 5. My brain's smart, but my mind isn't. Figure that one out. Robin's in there like, I wish you'd stop talking. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow for my final check-in before I go on vacation. And if my planes crash, if one of my planes crashed, it'll be my final check-in ever. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But wouldn't it be fucking wild if I documented it? Oh my god, someone like Scary should have to run a topic on that. And it'll be Robin, and everyone would listen because they'd be like, "Oh my god, like he died. I'm so sorry for her." Man, our ratings would shoot through the roof. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow.